Hello, everyone. This is Rob Cuddy from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to welcome all of you to tonight's presentation, the 4 critical mistakes most network marketers make and how to overcome them. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. It's something that I'm really excited about presenting to you because of the fact that there's a lot of misunderstanding about what really makes this business go. And these things here are bedrock fundamental principles, methods, and strategies that you can count on. It's what I call self-evident material. It's stuff that you can look at without anybody giving you a testimonial saying, wow, this is really great information. This stuff I can see works. This stuff has been around for over 60 plus years. It's been used by many of the largest and most legendary business builders of all time in network marketing. It is all of these are proven methods and strategies and principles. So it's something that you can sink your teeth into and something that you can utilize right away to turn your business around or to take it to new heights. Now, that being said, a lot of people say, well, Rob, why doesn't this information get out more often? Why is it held so close to everyone's vest? Why is it not just broadcast from buildings? I don't know. I have no clue why this information didn't get out, but that's the reason why I do what I do. I've had people from all across the world call me when they run into problems with their businesses, and I've been able to help them overcome those challenges. And I thought, well, why is it that this information does not get out? And that started the whole process. And this that we're going to be talking about tonight is a product that came out of all of that, and it features 4 of the most prominent mistakes that network marketers make. Now, if you're a veteran network marketer, let's be honest, for the most part, you know what you're doing, what's going on. That being said, I want you to understand that also there are some veteran network marketers out there that I have run into and worked with that also make these same mistakes. So that being said, it is something that, hey, we all need to sharpen our blade every once in a while, right? Everybody, including the experts, make mistakes and forget about certain things. Maybe this could be a refresher. Maybe this could help someone get back on target to what they need to do to get their business to the level they want. So that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. I'm a little bit of a rookie at this webinar stuff, so you're going to have to bear with me. I may make some mistakes along the way. You may hear my dogs in the background. You may hear the wife in the background. I am in a studio. But bottom line is that it is in the house, so bear with me if you hear those. That being said, let's go ahead and move forward and get this thing started so you guys can get back to your families and enjoy the evening. All right, here we go. First and foremost, I want to tell you about myself. I've been in this business for over 30 years. I started out in Amway and was part of 5 other companies. I made money and I've lost money, like most people, right? I've had the lifestyle and I've not had the lifestyle. I've personally worked with some of the biggest names in this industry, and I'm not going to throw names around. The bottom line is that a lot of those guys are people that you would recognize right off of the bat. And it's not important. What's important is what I learned from them, what they taught me. Okay? And it took me a while to get to the point where I would listen. Like you, I've paid the price. I sit back sometimes and I think about the things I did, and I thought, why did I do that? Some of the stuff I did was crazy, but I did it. And I have driven all those lonely miles. I've gotten the rejection. I have seen people drop out as fast as they joined my business. But on the other hand, I've seen all the good stuff too. So it is possible. It's out there. You can do it. Believe me. If I can do it, I can promise you, you can do it. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. When things started going bad, I couldn't figure out what in the world I was doing wrong. I was working my tail end off. I was listening to my upline and my sponsors. I couldn't figure out why this thing was not working. It was so simple, but I couldn't get anybody to help me. No one would share with me that magic bullet of success, which really made me mad. I thought, what in the world's going on here? But you know what? The more frustrated I got with him, the more frustrated I got with myself. Okay? I kind of knew there wasn't a magic bullet, but at the same time, I thought, well, I'm working my tail end off. How could there not be a magic bullet? How are they getting this success and I'm not? I tell you, I just really was at my wit's end sometimes. Wanted to give up countless times, as you can imagine. I knew that no one worked harder than me. No one was more dedicated to success than me. At least that's what I thought. Okay, and the reason I made that statement is because when I would look around at all my peers and even some of my sponsors and leaders, I was doing more than they were doing. But yet I couldn't get the success. I couldn't figure out why it was working that way. I started to feel like God had something against me, which I knew wasn't true, but that's the way I felt. That being said, what I didn't realize is I wasn't doing the right things, even though I thought I was, and I was very active. I don't know if you guys have been in that situation, but if you have, you understand where I'm coming from. The point is that I was unsure what I was doing. Okay? I thought I was doing the right thing, but there was this little voice that was a little unsure. I couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I couldn't pinpoint it. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I want to give up. But I wanted the lifestyle so bad. But I was, once again, following my upline and sponsor. But once I realized that wasn't working, I started doing my own thing. I thought, well, heck, if it's not working, well, what they're doing. And believe me, I counseled upline. I listened. I didn't just decide one day that I wasn't going to listen to them anymore. I drove to their home. I sat at their table. They came to my home. They did meetings. I was at functions. On and on and on. You guys have been there. You know what I'm talking? Conference calls. There wasn't much else I couldn't do. Was I part of the problem? Yes. Okay. But at the same time, it was a two-way street. And I didn't know that in the beginning. Okay. I got more and more frustrated as I continued to listen to these people and I wasn't getting the results. And I was doing what I was told. Okay. So it wasn't like I was being rebellious. In the beginning, I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. But at the same time, without getting into self-help here, there were some personal issues that I had to overcome, and I didn't know it at the time. So that was part of the problem too. But it is a two-way street, and I'm not looking to blame anybody. I'm calling it as it was. And maybe you're encountering the same thing, so don't be so hard on yourself if in fact that's the case. So what was it I was doing wrong? Okay? Believe it or not, it was some of the most basic and simplest things you can imagine. How did I figure this out? Well, like I said, I learned some on my own, which was the hardest way. But I learned much more from the leaders I was fortunate to be sponsored by and worked with over the years. Once I went up the food chain in leadership, once I went beyond my sponsor and really their sponsor, and started getting up into the big time leaders or business builders. I call them business builders, and they are leaders. That's when I really started to learn how this business worked. That's when I learned what I needed to do. And also when it became evident what I was not doing. Okay? The chances are most of you are making the same mistakes I was making. Because you're being taught the same thing. I see it all the time. Over and over. I was hoping over the years that it would change. It hasn't. Matter of fact, most network marketers are making these simple business killing mistakes. So don't feel alone, okay? The bottom line is you want to know what are these simple mistakes. And I want to tell you, basically, there are 4 critical mistakes almost every networker makes, and ones that you must be aware of and avoid at all costs. Otherwise, you're going to be dead in the water. You're not going to be able to build a business, and you'll see why here in a few minutes. So what are the 4 mistakes? Well, they are joining the wrong company at the wrong time. And I'll explain that here in a moment. Leading with the product instead of the opportunity. You know, when I have taught this, people say, well, Rob, the product's the most important thing. You got to have the product. Well, I agree. You have to have the product. Otherwise, you don't have a business. And the product has a prominent role in the success of the company and your success as well. But here's the thing. It's not the opportunity. And it's not what your prospects are looking for. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. And you'll see why here in a minute. Not delivering the right message to the right prospect at the right time. That's a mouthful, but you'll see why that statement's true here in a moment. Using a defective and non-productive business building system. That's a prominent problem in this business, and it's one of the problems that it's so simple to fix, and I just don't get it. But there again, it makes the top 4 because it is a prominent problem in this industry. So, With that being said, let's go ahead and address each one of these individually. First, let's talk about joining the wrong company at the wrong time. I want to have a special note here before we get started. I need to make something very clear here. You have to realize it takes the same amount of effort, time, energy, focus, tools, etc. to build a successful business in an old company as it does a new one. This is a very important point for you to understand, and here's why. In one company, you can create a nice income and have stability. In another, you can create wealth and an incredible lifestyle. So you need to ask yourself before you start building your business, what type of lifestyle do you want? That will, for the most part, people determine your search for a company or an opportunity. And a company and an opportunity go hand in hand. Joining a company is not the same as taking advantage of the opportunity that company provides you, okay? Now keep in mind it takes some effort, time, etc. to build a successful business in both an old or new company. So why not make as much money as possible in the shortest time possible for the same effort? Okay, you should. To me, it makes sense. But the risk involved with a new company is not everyone's cup of tea. Okay, but if it is, if you're not afraid of risk, boy, oh boy, can you have one heck of a ride. To me, the answer is clear. I want to make as much money as I possibly can, as quickly as I can, while I have the chance. Okay, you have to realize that the opportunity to make this kind of money only comes around a few times in a lifetime. That being said, let's take a look at when you should join a company to meet your individual needs. Okay, here we are with our scale, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at 3 distinct phases of a company's growth. The initial growth phase, when they open their doors from day 1 up to years 8, 9, possibly 10 in some cases. Then there's a transitional growth period where the company is going from a startup to going into a maturity stage, which is here. And as you can see, you have your 10 years, 15 year, 20 year, 25 year plus, okay? You have that initial growth, and you're going to be amazed what takes place. Now, what you're going to see here, this is going to be very visual for you, and it's really going to bring a lot of things home for you, so you get a clear understanding of why it's so important to join a company at the right time if your goal is to make as much money as possible. If your goal is not to make as much money as possible, you're going to see where the stability factor comes in. If your goal is to make as much money as possible, you want to be there in the initial growth phase, okay? You don't want to be in the mature growth phase, and you'll see why here in a minute. Obviously, when you're with a startup, high risk. A lot of people don't like that risk. You could go out of business anytime. Your checks cannot be good when you get them. Your money may not get deposited. I've been there. I've experienced that. In your transitional growth, the company's not so risky anymore. Sure, it could still go out of business, but what company couldn't? All right, but the bottom line is that traditionally, companies that reach this transitional growth period stick around, okay? They don't always become multi-billion-dollar international companies, but they become very nice companies that you can sink your teeth into, okay? Obviously, the mature growth period of a company is the stability part of it as well. The point being is some of you are going to say, look, I just want to know that my check's good. I want to know the company's going to be around. Okay, and if your goal is not to make as much money as you can as quickly as you can, then this might be your answer. Okay, now high risk, high reward. At 70% means that 70% of all the wealth that's going to be created in that company is going to be created in the initial growth phases. That's the reason why, if your goal is to make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, you want to be there. 20% of the wealth the company is going to create is going to be in the transitional growth phase. And obviously, 10% of the wealth is going to be created in the stability phase. Then what you have here, you see this red line. This red line is nothing more than what we call a leave line. And as you can see, there's 4 of them. And this is when You have big time leaders or business builders that leave a company, and you say to yourself, well, why do they leave? It's such a great opportunity. It's because they realize the growth period is over. They realize that they no longer can make the type of money they want to make. It's time to move on to another company. And that's the reason why you see a lot of leaders leave. And this is typically the time frame, these 4 time frames here, when they will leave because they're on to the next big money maker. Okay? So that is how you determine when you're going to join a company and how you're going to make the most money. This is powerful because this allows you to really focus in on what kind of company and what kind of business you want to build. Or I should finish that sentence saying what kind of company you want to join and what kind of business you want to build. For instance, when I sit down and say, look, I'm a risk taker. I want to make as much money as quickly as I possibly can. All right. So the point is I know I got to get in there and work my tail end off for the first 2 years and really make a ton of money. That being said, I also realize there's a risk that it could go out of business any time. So I can't afford to waste time. And I got to take advantage of that. So I know going in my mindset. I know what kind of business I'm going to build. I know how many people I need to sponsor. I know how fast I need to go. I know what kind of volume I need to create. I know all of that. So in my head, my actions are going to follow what's in my head, and my head's building that business in my head each and every time I talk to someone. If on the other hand I want stability, I realize I got time. Now I'm not going to say I'm going to slow down, but I'm saying at the same time I realize timing is not so critical. I don't have to kill myself to make that happen, because the bottom line is that I'm going to have a situation where I'm going to have some time to get to the point I want. Am I going to be able to create the lifestyle and income in an older company in the stability phase as I will in the startup phase? Absolutely not. But it's not a bad lifestyle. It's not a bad thing to have a stable paycheck and a company you can count on, right? So there again, if I go into the stable mode, then I know what kind of business I'm building, and I know how many people I need to sponsor and when, and I know what kind of time frame I need to do it in. You see what I'm getting at? Hopefully it makes sense to you. That chart was or the graph was very, very powerful and revealing. Now, as you can see, there's pros and cons about both approaches. But again, the effort, the time, the commitment is the same in both. It's that in one approach, you can make a lot of money, and with the other, you can get a great deal of stability. All right. Obviously, this is a personal choice, and only you can make that decision. There's really no wrong answer here. It boils down to what you want from a company. That's why I said earlier, you need to decide before you start building a business what kind of lifestyle you want from your business. And we just touched on that. See the importance of it? See how it all plays together? And this is stuff that people don't get taught. Okay? So hopefully you're starting to get the picture here. Now there's one more important point I want to make here, because joining a company at the right time is only one small piece of the puzzle, and you'll see why here in a moment. The other point I need to make while we're on this subject is just as important as picking the right company, but is a severely overlooked item when people are looking to join a company opportunity. That is this: there are products that work against you when you're trying to build a business. Now, the list of products that you really don't work long term in this business, it could be a long list, and I'm not going to do that to you, but I'm going to highlight those that are the most common. Some of you are going to recognize them. Some of you may not agree with them. I am not against what you're about to see. I'm not saying these things are illegal. What I'm saying is history has shown that these things are not productive for the long term. They do not catch traction and stay long term, okay? And so it's really not advantageous for you to be a part of a company that has this type of product or product line. With that being said, let's take a look. History has shown, as I said, that the following products are going to struggle to get any kind of traction and have any kind of staying power in this industry. And they are laundry balls, laundry rings, travel, golf clubs. Those are the items, products, whatever you want to call them, services that really struggle. There are more. Coffee, electricity, all of that stuff, phone, cell phone, websites, they all struggle to have any kind of staying power in the industry, okay? And they've been used many, many times. So don't get caught up in that. Stick with the basics, okay? Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying, once again, that these products are illegal. I'm just saying they have a history of not working long-term in the business. I really want to hammer this home because I'm not anti-products. in that regard, the ones we just talked about. I just got to make sure that you understand it's a decision you need to make, but my job is to make sure you understand the truth and what you're facing, okay? I hope you understand the importance of this, because the products a company is promoting does have a major impact on your business, okay? So choose wisely. The point being, if you came to me with a laundry ring or a golf club or a travel club, I'm not joining. I already know where it's going. I already know what the issues are. I already know what the future of that company is going to be. And I'm not saying it won't be good. I'm not saying it couldn't be great. I'm just saying the chances are very slim that that's going to happen. So I'm not going to waste my time. It's not going to, and I don't believe in the product. So it's not going to behoove me to join a company like that and promote it, because I won't believe in it. And it'll show. Okay? So choose it wisely, because I understand what's going to happen. Now that you have a firm grasp on that, let's take a look at the next most critical mistake most networkers make. That's leading with a product instead of the opportunity. Now, a lot of people say, Rob, why in the world would you say that? Well, once again, you have to understand that you need a certain quality prospect in your business in order for it to grow. You need leaders. Excuse me. Leaders take action. Leaders are motivated. They're focused. They come into something and they say, oop, this is what I got to do. I got to go now. And they just do it. In order to draw that kind of person to you, you have to have that same type of mentality, but you also have to have a message that's going to grab their attention. And I'm going to tell you that these people, including myself, are not salespeople. I don't care to sell a product. I just want the product to perform its function. It's part of the process, okay? And you guys have to realize this is all a process. What I'm teaching you here is what we do behind the scenes, if you will. All right, here's the bottom line. The product is just part of the process. It's got to work. People got to want it. It's got to be productive. It can't hurt people. It's got to have enough profit built in for the distributor force and the company. And the bottom line is, people have to want it month after month after month. All right, so that being said, if all those things are true, then I'm not worried about the product. I'm focused on the opportunity the company's presenting me, and that is a timing issue. If it's a startup, I know I have 1 to 5 years to get in and do what I want to do. All right. So the bottom line is I understand the opportunity, which is the timing. That's the opportunity, folks. It's not the product. I don't care if the product came from Mars by some special Martians that had 18 heads and 14 arms and was 22 feet tall. I don't care. The bottom line is that it's not about the product. It's about the opportunity that a company presents to me, the opportunity to make money, the opportunity to take action now and get in and build the numbers and build the business. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully you do. Well, if you're going to have a legitimate chance to build a business you want or dreamed about, then you need to do what? Find the right prospects, okay? And if you're leading with a product, that you're automatically going into sales mode, because you're going to compare your product with every other product on the market. It's better here, it's better there, it's got a better price, it's cheaper, blah, blah, blah. And then you can only get it from me, you can't get it anyplace else. All that stuff. The next thing you know, you're being a salesman for the product and the company. You're not talking about the opportunity. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. And the right prospects for any of us as leaders and go-getters, and the only way to get them is to show them the opportunity. The opportunity, okay, is their lifestyle. Okay, leaders are always looking for better ways to do something. They're looking for more money or a better lifestyle to get out of their job. They're looking for an opportunity to accomplish any one of those three things. Hopefully you understand that. Hopefully you're starting to get a vision, okay, of what I'm talking about, because this is what most of you are missing. In other words, the opportunity to better their situation. Your job is to show them how your opportunity can do that for them. And if I can promise you that if the product has very little to do with their decision, okay? When I talk to someone calls me about an opportunity, we do not talk about the product. We do not talk about the company. The first thing we talk about is, okay, what growth phase is the company in? Okay, what's the comp plan like? Okay, how am I going to be rewarded? Those are the kind of things we talk about behind the scene. Then they'll say, oh, by the way, here's the product. This is what it does. Oh, okay, great. Will you send me some so I can test it out? Okay, and if I don't believe in the product, I'm not going to join the company, because I'm not going to endorse something that I'm not taking and utilizing myself to other people. But the bottom line is, I'm just checking the product out. It's not the reason I joined the business. The reason I joined is because I see an opportunity there. Okay, and if I can get behind the comp plan and the product, then maybe I got something. Okay, you see what I'm saying? What they're looking for is an opportunity a company presents because of its product or comp plan or its current growth. Okay, these people understand an opportunity when they see one, and if you can show them how they can get to their dreams, boy, you've got them. And here's what we're talking about. If you can master the art of getting the right message to the right prospect at the right time, then you have an unbelievably bright future ahead of you in this industry, because it's all about the message. And what is the message? We're going to talk about that in a moment. Right now, let's keep focused on this. And that's because right now, I need you to understand that the most important thing here is what your product really is to this type of prospects. Realize the product you're offering, folks, these individuals is the opportunity. I've been hammering that the last couple minutes. The opportunity is a chance for them to change one or all of their most important desires or needs, which are what we just talked about: more money, better lifestyle, or to leave their job. That's it. Okay, your product to these people, these high quality people that will take action right away, if you can show them how they can get what they want, that is your product to them. Your message and the fact that they can utilize your opportunity to get to their end result is your product to them. Keep that in mind. Notice there isn't one word mentioned about a physical product, the comp plan, or the company. It's all about the opportunity, an opportunity that could be the segue to what they want. Your job is to get that message to them in the proper way. I can tell you from past experience, I've tried all this. If you mention the product, comp plan, or company to these individuals, more times than not, you've lost them. They don't want to sell. They don't want to get caught down on all the details about the company. They don't care. In their minds, as long as it's a legit company and it's real, they're okay with it. Same goes with the comp plan. As long as you can show them how it can provide the money they want in return for their efforts, they're going to be happy. More times than not, they don't want details about either one. They just want you to show them how to make money. So how do you get such a message to these leaders so they'll seriously consider joining your business? Well, that could be an art unto itself, believe me. But if you master this message, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Matter of fact, you'll be amazed at how simple the message is. And of course, that's going to lead us into the message itself, delivering the right message to the right prospect at the right time. Even though it's a very simple message and one anybody can do, it's way too much to get into here. But don't fear, here's what I'm going to do. Since you're here on the webinar, I'm going to send all of you the music to their ears special report in audio. Okay, there they are right there. And these free gifts, you'll get all the information you need to master this important message and its delivery. Inside, you'll get word for word what to say, or learn how to add your own words without diluting the message or losing your prospect in the process. You'll be taught what you can do to make these words yours, where they flow from your lips with all the confidence in the world, as though you wrote the message yourself. Okay? This is the exact same approach, almost the exact same wording many of the top business builders in the world use. That's because they know from experience what potential top performers are looking for, and they're going to custom that message to what they want to hear, as long as the company can deliver. They know it's the end result these people are looking for in the initial contact, not the product, comp plan, etc. That stuff comes later. All right. And finally, we have the using a defective, non-productive business building system mistake, which means there's normally two very small but vitally important things most business building systems leave out, and they are, believe it or not, one is going to be called the threshold of profitability. It's a term I came up with years ago. It's something that you're going to be very familiar with when you see it. And the other is setting the tone, the standard, and the expectations from the beginning. These two things are overlooked all the time, and it's a shame. The bottom line is that you have a situation where if these things are not addressed, your business is going to flop like a fish out of water and go nowhere. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. It's irrelevant what you want to call it. What's important is it's not being taught to new partners in a proper manner, and that's a big, big problem. Now let's talk about the threshold of profitability first. I hope you realize there's a certain amount of PV level each and every person must do in your business in order for your business to have a chance to gain momentum. Otherwise, everyone will struggle to get over the hump. Okay? That magical number helps people achieve more faster and keeps everyone happier and motivates and produces results, which creates excitement, obviously, and which in return is going to help you create the momentum that your business so desperately needs to get over the hump so that you can live the lifestyle you want. And all of this is created by one simple number, a number that is rarely promoted, which is a disservice to everyone in your business, including yourself. All right? That being said, the magical number every person in your business should strive to do each and every month is 100 PV. Okay? That is the point of profitability. In other words, you can do less than 100 PV per month, but I'm going to tell you something right now. You're going to have to do twice, sometimes 3 times the work to achieve the same level of success that a person who's doing 100 PV per month in their business does. Okay? So do you want to work 2 to 3 times harder? And I'm going to be honest with you, in one of my special reports, I show where you don't even if you work 2 to 3 times harder, you're not going to achieve the same level of success that someone doing 100 PV in their business is doing. And I'm talking about each and every person in your business doing 100 PV. Now, we all know that doing 100 PV, each and every person doing 100 PV in your business, it's not realistic. What you want to do is get the vast majority of them doing it. And the key to that is they're, again, doing what? Getting them to see the end result, where if they do it, they can get what they're pursuing. Okay? All right, it's at this PV point that your business has a chance to make it big and possibly doing something even more special down the road. If you do it, you'll be amazed at what you'll see and what will happen and the impact this number can have on the results. Okay? So keep that in mind. It's vitally important. I know I make it sound simple, and for the most part it is. But if you know how to implement this culture into your business, that's where the hard part comes in. And if you don't know how to do that, then you're going to have to learn. Because if you don't get this culture into your business is going to struggle. Okay? The 100 PV is magical for a reason. It creates enough volume to get you over the hump, to create the excitement, it creates results. It moves people up the rank ladder. It moves people up the income ladder. And when people do that, they get excited. They say, it's working, it's working. And let me give you a quick example. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what calculator you use. If you multiply 100 times 100, you're always going to get 10,000. I dare any of you to sit down and look at a company, any company, and look at their comp plan and look at what you would get paid. No bonuses, no cars, no trips, just pure hard cash. Look at what you'll get paid if you create 10,000 PV per month in a business, and see how much you'll get paid each and every month for creating that. Now that should excite you. If it doesn't, stay away from that company. Okay? You want to be with a company that's going to have a comp plan that's going to reward you for your efforts. You're not there to make the company rich. You're there to split the fortune or the income, whatever you want to call it, the proceeds, whatever, with the company. Okay? You need to be paid for your effort. That company exists because of you. All right? It's not a one-way street here. So that being said, this approach, this 100 times 100 equals 10,000, helps you look at companies and make a decision as to whether you want to be a part of that company. Okay? But here's the thing. When you have that, when you know that, you can sit down. It's getting 100 people in your business hard? No. Can it be done in 90 days? Yes. But what if it took you 6 months? Wouldn't it be worth it? Okay? So I'm going to give you some great advice right now. The key to making this thing work is doing the same thing here that you did with your high quality prospects, and that is show them the end results. And what I'm talking about is your people that are in your business. And they say, why should I do 100 PV? And you say, here's why. You say you want to achieve this. You want this lifestyle. Let me show you how we can make that happen by using this number and you promoting this number throughout your business. Once they see that, they're going to go through brick walls to achieve it because they're going to see it. They're going to know it's true. It's not you playing numbers games on them. It's not you playing mental games on them. they can use their own calculator and see that 100 times 100 is 10,000. And they can also see how other people have more than 100 people in their business. And they're saying, well, hey, Joe's got, 300 people in his business. So they can see it's self-evident. It's not something that you need to promote. It's not something that you need to have testimonials for. It works, and they know it works. Okay? So with that being said, of course, you want to show your prospects, your new business partners, the exact same thing that we just talked about, so that they too can understand why doing 100 PV is so important to their future. So now you're starting to get the duplication process. See, now they're experiencing the dream, the end result. And you want to start at the end. You don't want to start with the product and all that other stuff. You want to say, okay, this is what you told me you want to achieve. These are your goals. And you're saying you want to achieve these in this time frame. Well, guess what? We can do that. And let me show you how. And so now you can start doing the 100 times 100, which is very realistic and very easy for them to do. And you can show them how it's easy. And they can say, I can do that. That's great. I can do that. And believe it or not, that is the second part of the process. Relaying that exact same message to your new partner so that they can get off to the right step and start putting together a foundation. They can catapult them to new heights that they want. The only variable for them to reach their goals is time. Okay? You see how those is coming together? All right, but all of this starts off with effective communication, meaning you having the ability to get the right message to the right prospect at the right time. You have to own that message, and we talked about that. You have to relay the importance of the 100 PV per month, not only to your new partners, but your downline that are already part of your business, and getting them to understand how they can get what they want sooner rather than later by doing their part and setting the standard in their own businesses by doing 100 PV. And for the sake of brevity, and of course space, we don't want to get into any more detail than that, but in the near future, I'll touch on this in a lot more detail. In the meantime, you can get another special report I have called the Threshold of Profitability. It covers this in greater detail, tells you exactly what's going on and how to do it and how to implement it. Okay? So you want to get that. You can do that at the site that I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, now, that's all we got tonight. Now, wasn't that fast? Wasn't that good? We talked about the 4 critical mistakes most networkers make and how to overcome them. And you can now see, as you look back, how those 4 critical mistakes are prominent throughout the industry and how people overlook them and don't address them. Don't be them. Don't struggle like everybody else. I remember when I was doing that. I remember when I was struggling. I remember when I'd make just enough money to tease me to keep going, but barely to cover the expenses that I was encountering driving around everywhere and making all these calls and buying all this product. It was crazy. But you know what? I believed in the business model. I knew the business model worked, and I knew that I would eventually figure it out. But what I didn't know was all the critical mistakes I was making. No one took the time to tell me. I mean, I'm amazed when I sit down, and I had wonderful, wonderful sponsors. And I'm telling you that they're some of the best sponsors anybody could ever ask for. Knowledgeable, great achievers, living the lifestyle, had the money. It wasn't like I was hanging around goofballs. But it's amazing how these things were not discussed. There were no classes. Now, if you ask questions, you would get answers. And as my confidence grew in the business and as my confidence grew in myself, because believe it or not, I was more of an introvert than an extrovert. I'd rarely said much of anything. And yet this industry brought all of that out. And as you can tell, I can now feel very comfortable talking to people. And obviously, as you can tell, I can talk very fast. The point is, I became a great communicator because once I understood how to communicate and what I needed to say in that communication and who I needed to say it to, things began to change. Okay? Obviously, there's more to this business than this, but here's the thing. We talked about the 4 most critical mistakes most networkers make. Okay? These are things that are done over and over and over every day by many millions of people across the world who believe in this business model and want to utilize the business model to achieve their goals and dreams. And it breaks my heart when people don't know this stuff and can't achieve those goals and dreams because of things they're not even aware of or are eating away and eroding their very efforts to achieve any type of success in this business. Folks, once again, don't be one of those people. Now that you're armed with this information, my hope is you'll use it and go out and change not only your life but others as well. Okay? If you've already gotten your copy of the 4 critical mistakes report that we just covered, great. But if you don't have it, you can download it by pushing the button below or by going to my website, which is whatnottodoinnetworkmarketing.com. If you do a Google search, you'll see it. You can go there. We're going to be having an official launch of version 2 of What Not to Do in Network Marketing coming down the road. Right now, I want to get this information out to people. I want to start helping people now. There's so much information of what not to do in network marketing that it'd be hard to cover them in these videos and these webinars. But the bottom line is that I have a site that'll have all the information you could possibly need. And people say, Rob, why do I need to know what not to do? And I tell them, well, if you don't know what not to do, you certainly won't know what to do. And I can tell you from life experience, we all can relate to is this. When you were young, your parents told you, look both ways before crossing the street. Okay? Don't touch the stove while it's hot. Don't play with fire. Those were life lessons that saved us from critical injuries, maybe even our lives. Now, this is not that serious, but here's the thing. What not to do's apply to every phase of life, including network marketing. No one's ever sat down and said, do not do this. Here's why. Do this instead. The great thing is about my information, not only do I tell you what not to do, I tell you what to do. So you get both sides of the coin. It'll help you, what this information will do, it'll help you become a business building machine with a laser focus, because you'll know what to avoid, you'll know what to stay away from, you'll know what not to do, so you can focus on the right things to do, which will speed up your learning curve, which will speed up your success curve, which will speed up your chances of getting to the point where you want to go and to build the lifestyle you want to build. That's the power of this information. Will you need everything that I teach? No. The great thing is you're going to be able to sift through and pick out what you need. Okay? That's the great thing. And in closing, I will tell you that people have come up to me after reading the book and having the information even from version 1, and they came up to me and they said, I read your book and I liked it and I thought it was informative, but I didn't listen to it. I didn't take the information to heart. I regret that. I wish I had, because the things that you told me not to do, I did. And you know what? It ruined my business. I couldn't get anywhere. I struggled. I lost a lot of money. I lost credibility with my friends. It was very gut-wrenching. And I wish I'd have listened. And you know what they tell me? I'm reading the information now. I keep it as a reference. I listen to the audios. I watch the videos. So with that being said, don't become one of them. Don't become a Rob Cootie. I've been there. Be smart. Be smarter than I was. Get this information. Actually listen to it, read it. It's easy reading. It's quick. I try to make it as quick and to the point as possible. Go ahead and do that. You'll be amazed at what you'll learn, and I'm sure you'll be thankful down the road that you did, in fact, read it. With that, I'm going to get off of here. I wanted to let you know before we go, I want you to have a great evening. I want to thank all of you for being here. Don't forget, next Sunday, we'll have another webinar, same time, 7 p.m. It's going to be the 5 simple steps to success in network marketing. That's next Sunday, the 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you guys then. Have a great evening.